for part 3 of what will probably be a 6 or 7 part series. I don't know. Who knows with these things, right? Restorations are tricky business. When we get into them, we don't really know how far down the rabbit hole we're going to go. So far, I can tell you this. The old 1980 Volkswagen Rabbit pickup truck is going pretty smoothly. It's actually requiring a lot less work mechanically and body-wise than I thought it would initially. That's a positive. On the interior, things are not working out so great. Very hard to find quality interior parts for a 75 through 80 model Volkswagen Rabbit. They had a different dashboard. The dashboard in mine is not great. Looks like I'm going to end up having to try to reuse it at least temporarily. The electrical stuff's been a nightmare as well. No worries there. I've been rewiring it. I'm actually finishing up some modifications to the system, which I'll show you in my next video. But the fuse box, you know, they used to sell the fuse boxes new. In fact, they were even available aftermarket for quite a while. Back in '08 when I was, from 1992 to 2008 when I was very much into these cars. These parts were much more easy to come across. You could find complete donor vehicles for like $100, $50 within driving distance. Not so much anymore, but enough of the complaining. Let's get on to what is happening here. So in the last video I showed you that I had done some upgrades to the suspension, you know, or repairs and upgrades. I'm just going to take the opportunity, since I have it up in the air while I've been doing other work on it, to show you the underneath of it, because I'm pretty well done with the underside of this car. Maybe going to paint a few items in the spring, but pretty much done. As you can see, big change. I got new tires. Now the tires that were on here before had plenty of tread left, but they were really old. They were over 10 years. They were dry rotted. They just weren't safe to use anymore, so that is why I replaced them. Now, I didn't find white lettered tires, which really sucked. I tried repeatedly. I got in contact with companies, BF Goodwrench and such, and my ideal tire for this truck was going to be an all-terrain with white lettered tires, but trying to find a 14-inch in a 185 or 195 or 175 proved to be impossible. So what I ended up doing was using ink, like a dye basically, that I was able to put the white letters on myself. So I got some Mastercraft Avenger GTs, pretty darn good price on those, and I think they came out pretty good. I'd eventually like to find a set of snowflakes. VW made snowflakes for the GTIs, 83 and 84s, and they used them on some other stuff. Just feel like this truck deserves snowflakes. I'm kind of a purist when it comes to cars. I don't like to have a lot of aftermarket parts on there. And in part 4, I'll explain some of the bigger issues I've been having along that line. But let me go ahead and take this camera off the stand. We'll get a light up underneath this thing, and I'll show you that I've done some undercoating. I'll show you the spring work that I've done. I'll also show you that I've replaced some boots, did a little bit of exhaust work. I mean, we've just been working along at it. You know, this is kind of a hobby. I won't be driving it really probably until the spring. Then I do have to have an inspector come out and look the car over and make sure that it has a clean bill of health and will pass on, you know, like it's a safe car to drive before issuing a title. So no worries there. I am a mechanic. I am not worried that it will fail the test, and I'm not modifying it or making it, you know, illegal in any way, I would say. Great. So let's get the camera. Let's take a look. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna back up, and I know it's not exactly easy to see under here, but I want to just show you how clean this thing is. You don't see a lot of browns. You see a lot of silvers and blacks and dark grays and such. That's just metal and the original paint. The things you don't see under here are browns and holes and rust and pitting. This thing is just stupid clean, man. It's really been a great purchase. I can't complain at all. If you can see back here, the first thing I replaced, well, there it is right there. Steering rack boots. Both of these boots were torn. That one's a little harder to see there. There we go. Both those were torn really badly, so I went ahead and replaced those. This is a manual steering rack. Doesn't have seals or power steering fluid to get damaged by dust and debris, but it's still something that they should be on there. You can still wear out the rack itself, and I'm sure finding a rack for this thing would be equally as hard as some of the other parts I've tried to find. So I went ahead and did that. Let me see if I can get a little closer here. So along here, control arm bushings, those were replaced. I'm losing focus. There we go. Control arm bushings, those have been upgraded with neoprene. That was done before me, but the suspension is tight, man. I mean, there's nothing. Ball joints were good, control arms are good. As you can see, I've undercoated this down both sides and around there, and then we come up here, and the exhaust has been replaced from the header back. Now this is the 4-into-2. This is a desirable header here. You can see up there, hopefully. I don't know. Yeah, 4-into-2. This is a 1980 model, so catalytic converter was not required, so it just has a resonating pipe right there. And as we go back, I did replace all these bushings here, well, bushings, little muffler mounts, those mounts, exhaust hangers, they were all broken, every single one. Luckily, that's a part that is still available. So, down along this side, same situation, really clean, really nice, just undercoated it to make sure it stayed that way. And the wheel wells, same thing, undercoated. Got my new struts and springs in there, looking good. Brakes were brand new, calipers were good, no need to do any work there. And another thing I want you to notice here is that, and I haven't washed, well, I mean, I washed it earlier, but I haven't washed it since running it last, there's no leaks. I mean, this is amazing. Check this out. Oil pan gaskets dry. Water pump's been replaced recently. And this thing's just sharp, man. CV boots are good. Anyway, let me move on to the back. I'll show you there because a lot more work been done there. Okay, so right off the bat here, still need to tighten it down, but there's my 1 7/8 ball that I was talking about in my last video. As we move up here, right now the spare tire is out, but there is the spare tire holder, and I'm gonna be painting that holder black. As long as this rear axle beam, I'm gonna paint that black. I just didn't wanna, I haven't got around to that yet, and it's kinda gotten too cold in here. And then we have our new exhaust, and again, new hangers for that all the way through. There's a double hanger there, and there's another one up there right at the turn there. So all that's been replaced. Did get a little undercoating on that exhaust right there, but that'll come out hopefully. New brake shoes, new brakes all the way around, new spring kits. So that was cool, took care of that. And there's my helper springs that I showed how to install in another video. That pretty much works on any leaf spring rear suspension, but there it is there. And again, the undercoating, the whole bottom side of this car, no rust at all, just awesome. So nice, so nice. So that's it. The shocks and struts, the shocks in the back here, they don't need to be replaced. They're, oh, that's kind of blinding you. There we go, look at this one. The shocks here, they don't need to be replaced. They're a little older, they're Monroes, but they bounce just beautifully. They don't have any issues, so I'm not gonna mess with that. Brake lines were all beautiful. Now the big bummer of the year has been this. I don't know if you can even see it, but there is a teeny weeny little crack in this gas tank. And I'm gonna have to have that tank taken out, cleaned out, and then unfortunately have to have it welded, which is gonna be considerably expensive because you really don't weld on gas tanks for the explosive hazard. But that's it, man, that's it. That's part 3, and hope you enjoyed it. Now, I don't have too many opportunities to see the underside of a Volkswagen pickup truck, but here we are. Like I said, part 4, a lot of electrical and wiring stuff that I'm gonna be going through, and I am actually getting started on that right now. I'm gonna, as soon as I turn this camera off, I'll be lowering this thing down off the lift and getting to it. So, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Take care.